Hey guys, what's going on? Hopeless Hollow here with another episode. Today we'll be looking over optimizing and adding flavor to your Barbarian. Now, the Barbarian is a class that typically uses the more physical stats, strength, constitution, and dexterity, with strength and constitution being some of the best for them. Mainly because of their unarmored defense, which allows them to add Constitution to their armor class. And while Constitution already boosts your HP, so it can really make a Barbarian one of the toughest ones out there, along with Rage, which gives you resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage, which includes bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage from magical weapons too, and other various things. So yeah, it's quite powerful and makes the Barbarian one of the best tanks in the game. But here we have the races. Now I'll only be going over the races that we have for free, and not all of these races, as to cut down on time on the video, and because well, we only go over stuff that you get for free. So let's go in order. First of all, they're Dragonborn. They have a +2 to strength, a +1 to charisma, have a breath weapon, a resistance to a type of damage. It's quite useful. They don't really, most barbarians don't really use charisma, but it's always nice to have. But that strength bonus is really where the damage lies. This also allows you to get a breath weapon, and this is a magical type of damage, meaning that a barbarian who always just swings with his axe might go against an enemy that takes no non-magical damage. So this is where the barbarian can really add a bit to help to the party, besides just having a large HP pool. You also have resistance to the type that you chose, so that's always nice. Dragonborns are quite unique in the fact that they get both the resistance of it and the breath weapon, which sounds simple enough and not really unique. But if you choose an obvious resistance like fire, fire is a great resistance to have. But then that means your breath weapon is also fire, so a lot of creatures will have resistance to that too. It all really depends on what you think is best. But anyways, that's Dragonborn. It's a good race overall for barbarians. Dwarf. Dwarfs are smaller in size, but they are pretty tough. They get a bonus to Constitution by of +2, and we already know how good Constitution is for barbarians, even at level 1. Let's see. Their speed's a bit slower, but your speed is not reduced by wearing heavy armor, which barbarians won't do though, because heavy armor stops them from raging. And plus, you already have pretty good armor for being a dwarf and a barbarian. You get dark vision. That's always nice. You're good against a lot of poisons. That's great. You don't really need the combat training as you are a barbarian. You get tool proficiencies. That's always nice. Stone cutting, that's just more flavor. And then Hill Dwarf just increases your hit point maximum per level. That's crazy strong. But Mountain Dwarf's also very good because your strength increases by 2. So it really all depends on, do you want to be tougher or do you want to do that more damage? Overall, dwarfs are a very good race for barbarians. Now, elf. Some people wouldn't consider elves to be much chaotic, or, well, no, they're quite chaotic, just rage. But it does give a bonus to dexterity, which is a physical stat, although barbarians use that the least. It's still useful. It increases armor class and quite a few skills. Let's see, dark vision's always welcome. Just proficiency in a perception skill, that's nice. Fey ancestry is just there. It comes up every once in a while. Trance is pretty nice. There's different variants though. Having a barbarian that can just teleport behind someone is just funny. Let's see. A barbarian that can cast a cantrip's always nice. And just increasing your speed to 35 feet or hiding when you're lightly obscured is always great. That's the elf. Definitely not one of the best, but I don't see any reason why you wouldn't pick it, besides the fact that there are better ones. Then there's the gnomes. The flat out normal gnome just gives an intelligence score boost of 2, which barbarians don't use in the slightest. They have a slower walking speed than the medium sized races. They get dark vision, but so do so many other races. The saving throws against intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws against magic, though. That could really help a barbarian against those nasty spellcasters. As for the different types of gnome, there's a +1 dexterity that helps it being a good race. They also get superior dark vision, which is very good. Stone camouflage is useful in certain terrain. As for the rock gnome, that oh so nice constitution we talk about all the time for barbarians is so welcome, even if it's only a +1. The artificer's lore and tinkerer though is nice, but it's really not something a barbarian would usually take. Overall, gnomes have a unique place with barbarians. It would be fun to have a gnome barbarian, but just really not the best. Next one up is half elf. The also usually bland half elf. Their charisma score increases by 2, which isn't great. Barbarians really don't use it unless it's like intimidation. And you get to choose 2 ability scores that increase by 1. And, well, you can choose strength and constitution. That's what most people pick. You can also choose dexterity and constitution for the extra defense, or just strength and dexterity, which really doesn't have many better differences between strength and con, but to each their own. Dark vision's always welcome. Fey ancestry, just like the elf, it's there. It helps out in some places, but where half elves really lies their skill versatility. Proficient in any 2 skills of your choice is very nice. It allows you to customize your character more. Overall, half-elves are one of the most customizable races for barbarians, but nothing much more. Halfling. Halfling is another one of the short races. Dexterity increases by 2, which helps barbarian. It's not its favorite stat, but definitely helps. Walking speed is a bit slower than the medium races. Always having lucky is incredibly fun. It just saves you sometimes. It makes sense for a barbarian to have advantage on saving throws against being frightened. Let's see. The nimbleness is always just good utility. A Christmas bonus of a Lightfoot isn't really the best, and also if you're the party's tank, you don't really want to hide too much. Let's see. But a stout halfling gains a bonus to Constitution, which is always welcomed by barbarians. And you have advantage against poison things and resistance against poison damage. It's just another resistance that in poison is semi-common, so it comes up every once in a while. Next one up is Halfwork. Halfworks are quite good for barbarians. They increase strength by 2, constitution by 1. That almost sounds perfect for barbarians. Let's see. They also get a base speed of 30 feet, which is always welcome. It's nice, better than the shorter races. Dark vision. 60 feet. Makes sense. Menacing, the intimidation skill. That's barbarian-like. Relentless endurance, just to keep it your tankiness going on for just one more attack. Let's see, in savage attacks, for when you score a critical hit, you can roll the weapon's damage dice again and add it to the critical hit just for some extra damage on an already heavy hitting attack. Next one up is human, and then finally tiefling. Humans get a bonus to every one of their ability scores, which is welcome. Let's see. They have normal speed, normal language. It's really not much besides the stat increase, but there's always variant human, which is similar to half elf, where you choose 2 different ability scores of your choice, then increase them by 1. You get proficiency in 1 skill of your choice, which is helpful, but the feat can be really powerful if you choose something like Sentinel or maybe Polearm Master. Next one up is Tiefling. Tieflings get a bonus to intelligence and charisma, which really isn't the best, at least for Barbarian. They have dark vision, resistance to fire damage. They know cantrip, and when you reach 3rd level, Hellish Rebuke. And and then you get darkness. Languages are common infernal. Not really the best for a barbarian, but no reason to say no to it. You also get for the Aarakocra, Gensai, and Goliath. Now, some people might say you also have access to SMR as the free version of it, but remember, that's a variant version. It doesn't have all the features, and it's not exactly the same as the official version. The Aarakocra, let's see. They have a dexterity increase, which is not their favorite stat, but still very useful. Wisdom increases by 1. Once again, we haven't really gone over wisdom so far too much, but wisdom increases perception, which is welcome pretty much by all characters, but not necessarily the first choice. Let's see. Their speed's only 25 feet, despite being a medium-sized race, but they have a flying speed of 50 feet as long as you aren't wearing medium or heavy armor, which barbarians don't do. Talons allow you to hit stuff with just your unarmed strikes for some damage. And you speak 3 different languages. Not the best, but certainly can make for an interesting barbarian. Next up, one up is the Gensai. Ganasai. It's an interesting one to try to pronounce. Constitution increases, that's their favorite stat. They have the base walking speed, that's normal. There's different types of them, though. Air increases dexterity, that's nice, and cast levitate. Never know when that'll be useful. Earth increases strength, once again, very useful. And the difficult terrain and pass without a trace while on stone is definitely good utility, like the air. Fire increases intelligence, not really needed, but it's the only one that gets dark vision, so that's useful. Also have resistance to fire damage, and get a cantrip as well as just a burning hands at 3rd level. Water gets a +1 to wisdom, which is welcome, but not really needed. Resistance to acid damage. Acid is quite rare, but it's nice to have. You can breathe air and water. You can swim. You have a swimming speed of 30 feet. Shape water and create and destroy water. So overall, it's a great race for the barbarian. Goliath, another typical one for the barbarian. Strength score +2, +1 of con. Exactly the same as Halfwork, or yeah. Let's see. They're a bit taller, but they're still medium-sized. They have 30 feet. They have proficiency in athletics instead of intimidation. Stone's endurance is basically a worse version of relentless, but it's always nice in the lower levels. Powerful build just helps you carry more stuff for your party. Resistance to cold damage is always welcome. And yeah, those are the different races. Next time we'll be going over backgrounds for barbarians. But that's all for now. Bye.